I will review. Uh, I will check out the Cartier family's reaction of the part two. Andrew Tate talks Palestine and Israel with Piers Morgan latest interview. Uh, I will listen to what the four dudes from the Cartier family have to say. Then I will give my candid thoughts. I will say who I agree with, who I disagree with. I will say who makes sense, who doesn't. If if they all make sense, if none of if nobody makes sense, I will say if Pierce has good points, if Andrew has good points, if they if Andrew doesn't make sense, if Pierce doesn't make sense, I will give my unbiased thoughts on everybody's uh, on what everybody has to say. Uh, I will say uh, that 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 somebody's biased if they are if they are if he is saying something that is partial, truly partial, or truly not consistent. Uh, let's watch. Let's get into it, man. This joint is elongated. Both videos, man. The Pierce joint and the Cartier Cartier family's reaction is elongated as well. Let's get it, man.
Return to the war. Return to the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. What is your view of this war?
I think when you call it a war, you're doing a disservice to the people who are having their limbs blown off by some of the most advanced technical weaponry on the planet. It is a genocide, and it's disgusting. And it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you fall on. When you observe a genocide in front of your very eyes, you should be disgusted.
Which side is waging genocide?
The Israelis are genociding the Palestinians, and you know it as well as everybody else does. Well, then it seems like your bosses are not allowing you to know it.
What do you think of what Hamas did on Sunday?
Genocide is transpiring on both sides. That's what I think.
Disgusting, and it doesn't matter which side of the political
Candace
spectrum you
Owens
fall
said
on.
that too.
When you
She
observe a genocide in front of your
sadly
very eyes,
got branded.
Which side is waging genocide?
She sadly got denigrated by Ben Shapiro. Uh, Ben Shapiro said that Candace Owens is disgraceful for not taking the not choosing sides, for not simping for one side, for saying what's logical, that the murder, the mass elimination, the mass slaughter both sides is odious, man. It really is. It is to be execrated, to be reviled. She got vituperated by Ben Shapiro because she's not worshiping Jews. She is not worshiping Israelis. She is not worshiping the the Jewish people, man. The Jewish people. That's, yeah, bro. It's crazy, man. Why do you have to for simp for a side to be laudable, to be why do you have to simp for one side to be laudable, to be respectable? That's goofy, bro.
Return to the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. What is your view of this war?
Candace did not
call it a war, you're doing a disservice to the people who are having
denigrate
their limbs
Jews or
blown off by
say
some of the
F
most
Jews
advanced
or
technical
say
weaponry on the
that
planet.
Jews are inferior to Muslims, or she did not say anything derogatory or denigrative about Jews. So
What's up to
the
the
fact
war
that Ben
between
is so
Israel
mad,
and Hamas in
mad,
Gaza?
so
What
over
is
over
your view of this
emotional
war?
I think
is terrible, man.
What's up to the war between Israel and
It makes no
Hamas
sense.
in Gaza?
I
What is
get why
your
he's
view of this
angry.
war?
I think
He has
when
friends
you
whose
call it-
relatives died on 10/7 in Israel, but he has bias, bro, and the bias is horrible to be candid.
What's up to the war?
You should not be biased. Nobody
blown
should be
off by some of the most
biased.
advanced technical
I do
weaponry on the
empathize
planet. It is
with
a
Ben
genocide and it's
Shapiro.
disgusting. And it doesn't
I get
matter
his
which
frustration,
side
his
of the political spectrum you fall on.
infuriation,
When you observe
his
a genocide
lividity.
in front of your very eyes,
But
disgusting. And it doesn't matter which
you got to
side
be
of the
rational. You
political
have
spectrum
to.
you fall on. When you observe a genocide in front of your very eyes, you should be
Ben is Jewish.
The Israelis are genociding
knows-
the Palestinians, and you know it as well as everybody.
That doesn't mean that you have to be closed-minded. That doesn't mean that it's justifiable to be closed-minded, to be inflexible, to be extreme.
The Israelis are
To
genociding
be-
the Palestinians, and you know it as well as everybody
I don't
else
know.
does. Well, then it seems like your bosses are not allowing you to know it.
What do you
Biased.
think of
That's
the
crucial.
of October the 7th?
Why are you starting the story in the middle?
I just asked you about the wider war. I'm now
Blown off by some of the most advanced technical weaponry on the planet. It is a genocide and it's disgusting. And it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you fall on. When you observe a genocide in front of your very eyes, you should be
which
disgusted.
side is waging genocide?
The Israelis are genociding the Palestinians, and you know it as well as everybody
I don't
else
know.
does. Well, then it seems like your bosses are not allowing you to know it.
What do you think of what
That's
Hamas did on October the 7th?
Why are you starting the story in the middle?
I just asked you about the wider war. I'm now
I
asking
can't
you specifically
professionally,
about
I
Hamas.
cannot professionally answer that question without talking about the context that led up to October 7th.
Everything
Well, nothing
happens
to
for
my mind
a
justifies what
reason.
happened on October the 7th.
Nothing
Nothing
happens
justifies what happened
for
before
no
October
reason.
7th. This is the exact point. So you're talking to a man.
Certain
I don't know
things
what answer
happen
you expect
for
from me, because
good
let's forget
reasons.
the fact I'm a Muslim.
Other
You're talking to a
things
man
happen
who's
for
fighting oppression
bad
to the best of
reasons,
his
but
ability.
everything happens for a reason, man. Straight up and down.
What do you think of what
Hamas
happened on
didn't
October the 7th?
Why are you
kill
starting the story in the middle?
I just asked you
1,500
about the wider war. I'm now asking you
Israelis for
specifically
no
about
I
reason.
cannot professionally answer that question without talking about the context that led up to October 7th.
Well, nothing to my mind justifies what happened on October the 7th.
Nothing. I cannot
Things
professionally
led
answer
up
that question
to the
without talking
Hamas
about the
attack.
context that
Things
led up to October 7th.
precipitate.
Well, nothing to my mind justifies what happened on October the 7th.
Nothing justifies what happened before October 7th.
Things
This is the exact point. So you're talking to a man.
precipitated the attack, but yeah, bro. Things happen for reasons. For everything happens for a reason.
Bring the story in the middle.
I just asked you
What
about the
Hamas
wider
did
war.
was unjustifiable, but you have to empathize. You
Professionally
have to
answer that question without talking
understand
about the
why
context
that
that led
happened.
up to October 7th.
Well, nothing
see
to my
where
mind justifies what
People
happened
from
on
the
October the 7th.
Nothing justifies
other
what happened
sides
before October
are
7th.
coming from.
This is the exact point. So you're talking to a man. I don't know what answer you expect from me, because let's forget the fact.
What Hamas did
I just
was
asked you
terroristic.
about the wider war.
It was
I'm now
I
asking
can't
savage.
professionally,
It
I cannot
was
professionally
devilish.
answer that question without talking about the
Hamas is
context that led up to
a
October
terrorist
7th.
group.
The story in the middle.
I am one of the very few people who are
I'm now
I
asking
can't
you specifically
professionally,
about
I cannot
with no
professionally answer that
cowardice,
question
bro.
without talking
No
about the context that led up to October 7th.
Well, nothing
landlessness.
to my mind justifies what happened on October
One
the
of the
7th.
very few
Nothing
people
just-
with the bravery to say that Hamas is a terroristic group. Full
I
stop.
cannot professionally answer that question without talking about the context that led up to October 7th.
Well, nothing to my mind justifies what happened on October the 7th.
Nothing justifies what happened before October the 7th. This exact point. So you're talking to a man. I don't know what answer you expect from me because let's
Hamas's
forget the fact that I'm
aim
a
is
Muslim. You're talking to a man who's fighting
exterminate
oppression to the best of his ability because he
Jews,
believes.
to exterminate Israelis, bro.
This exact point. So you're talking to a man. I don't know what answer you expect.
To eradicate.
Let's forget the fact that I'm a Muslim. You're talking to a man
Malicious
who's fighting
intent.
oppression to the best of his ability because he believes that the people in charge of the world are enslaving us all to the point where I detriment my own life. I end up in a jail cell because I'm speaking against oppression. This exact point. So you're talking to a man. I don't know what answer you expect from me because let's forget the story in the middle.
I just asked you about the wider war. I'm now
I
asking
can't
specifically
professionally,
about
I
Hamas.
cannot professionally answer that question without talking about the context that led up to October 7th.
Well, nothing to my mind justifies what happened on October 7th.
Nothing
Facts.
justifies what happened before October 7th.
Facts. Both
This
are
exact
facts.
point. So you're talking to a man. I don't know what answer you expect.
Both.
Because let's forget
It's
the
crazy
fact
that
I'm
certain
talking to
people
a man
cannot say
who's
both are
fighting
facts.
oppression to the
People,
best of his
certain
ability
people
because he
from
believes that the
both
people in charge
sides
of the world
are
enslaving us
hesitant
all to the point where I detriment my own life.
and
I end up in a jail
partial
cell because
or
I'm speaking against
biased.
oppression. Then you're asking me what I would do if my family
They
was
fail
going
to condemn both.
You asked me what I would do if another government came
To
along and
condemn
blew my
both
family to
Hamas
pieces.
and
You weren't put in
IDF.
a jail cell because of any oppression.
Absolutely, I was.
You were.
I
You
condemn
were put in
both.
jail cell because you've been accused of serious sexual
I would not have
crime.
been accused if I was not monumentally successful in speaking the truth.
Let me ask you again. It's a simple question. Some people can answer it straight.
To the point where I detriment my own life. I end up in a jail cell because who's fighting oppression to the best of his ability because he believes that the people in charge of the world are enslaving us all to the percent.
Well, nothing to my mind justifies what happened on October 7th.
Nothing justifies what happened before October 7th.
Facts.
This exact point. So you're talking to a man. I don't know what answer you expect from me because let's forget the fact that I'm a Muslim. You're talking to a man
are
who's fighting
gratuitous,
oppression to the best of his ability because he believes that the
Unwarranted.
people in charge of the world are enslaving us all to the point where I detriment my own life. I end up in a jail cell because I'm speaking against oppression. Then you're asking me what I would do if my family was
You're not in
blown
a
to
jail.
pieces.
You're not in a jail. Hang
You
on.
asked me what I would do if another government
Andrew,
came along and
you
blew
weren't-
my family to pieces.
You weren't put in a jail cell because of any oppression.
Facts.
Absolutely, I was.
You were.
Of course
You
I
were put
was.
in jail cell because you've been accused of serious
I
sexual
would not
crime.
have been
Facts.
accused if I was not monumentally successful in speaking the truth.
Let me ask you again. It's a simple question. Some people can answer it straight away.
This shit's really good, bro. Wow. It's the first minute is all been entertaining. It has been very entertaining. I've seen Andrew Tate with a lot of energy, but I've never seen him like really yell before. He's passionate.
You've never seen him yell before?
I've heard him yell-
He's
him
like,
yell
he talks
before.
loud sometimes, but he's like
He's angry about this, yeah. He passionate. Definitely feels a type of way, for sure. Even.
Another government
Andrew,
came along and
you
blew
weren't-
my family to pieces.
You weren't put in a jail cell because of any oppression.
Absolutely, I was.
You were.
Of course
You
I
were put
was.
in jail cell because you've been accused of serious sexual
I would not have been
Offensive.
accused if I was not monumentally successful in speaking the truth.
Let me ask you
This
again.
guy,
It's a simple
Andrew,
question. Some
continues
people can answer it straight
to
away.
evade
Including
accountability.
pro-Palestinians people I've had on my program. Many are very quick to say absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you believe Hamas are a terror organization?
And that's
Yes.
a very interesting question, but I think
Undoubtedly.
it's acidinities.
Well, just answer the question.
Could somebody do me a favor? Google acidinities and find out if it's.
I know what it means.
If it's not, make sure it's added to Webster. I'll talk to you more.
Okay. Are they a terror group?
You're peddling acidities because I'll tell you why. Let me answer.
No, I'm not.
Of course you are.
Simple question.
That's like me
I'll
asking.
tell you why I asked. Because the UK, where you were born, prescribed.
He wasn't born in UK. He was born in America. He lived in UK. He was raised in the UK.
You're not
He was
born
raised in Chicago before he immigrated to the UK.
after seeing a video on Twitter.
His mom
I
took
seen
him
it
and
on October the
Twisted
7th
Tate
when
to
Hamas
UK.
came back into West. I don't know if it was Gaza. Yes,
He
it
was
Gaza. And I
was
seen-
Andrew Tate born in
yes,
DC?
and
I
seen
think he
those
was born
Palestinian
in
adults
DC.
celebrating
He was
and
raised
beating
in
a
Chicago.
raped woman and a
At
man that
12,
was in a
I
truck,
think, or
beating them literally,
I think,
jumping on the truck,
or
trying to
11. He went to UK. He lived there for the rest of his yeah, bro.
I seen
He
those
wasn't born in
Palestinian
the
adults
UK. Pierce is
celebrating and
wrong
beating
about
a
that.
raped woman and a man that was in a trunk, beating them on Twitter. When I seen on October the 7th, when Hamas came back into West, I don't know, it was Gaza, yes. On Twitter.
I think it's a few years.
You know,
If I
prescribe
was to
this,
sit-
right?
if I would sit here and
This
say,
is good. This is good. I do want to say one thing though. After seeing a video on Twitter, when I seen on October the 7th, when Hamas came back into West, I don't know, it was Gaza. Yes, it was Gaza. And
They
I
were like
seen,
celebrating.
yes, and I seen those Palestinian adults celebrating and beating a raped woman and a man that was in a trunk, beating them.
That's
literally,
crazy.
jumping on the trunk,
If that-
trying to
if that's
harm
true,
the
that's
person.
crazy.
They're probably already dead or knocked out. I'm not
Deplorable.
gonna say I changed my side of it, but it was just like it changed.
How do you justify that?
Yeah, it changed.
You cannot justify that.
Because like even if you guys were harmed, like I said in the
They're
past video,
celebrating the harm that
It's
you
like-
caused.
yeah, and
Rejoicing.
it's like okay,
reveling,
we can't say that all
the
Jews
deriving
want you guys,
pleasure.
You know, they probably
Yeah.
the government that
And you
want
cannot
the
make
Jew-
blanket
the Jewish or
statements. You
Israel
cannot
government,
lump
that person
all
in the back
people
that truck
of
that
any
they
group
said-
under the same
Yeah, like
the
you
same
got-
umbrella.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's
You have to.
But you know, they
You have to
probably
be
believe
logical.
that they
You
support
cannot be
them.
prejudicial. You
Everything they
cannot
do,
be.
so-
That's true too. But that's kind of like you can't kind of justify that, you know?
Well,
As a human, you can't.
Like, remember in, what was it, Osama bin Laden, he said, y'all voted and supported them, so they just, you know, but I'm just saying, if you look at it.
Not all
they
people
look
who
at it
voted
that type of
are
way.
I
devilish.
just like
That's
be
the-
fair, I can't like
Just 'cause
justify any innocent people.
Somebody
I can't
voted
go.
doesn't
I
mean
can't
that he or she deserves to be IE.
That video of them
That's
celebrating Hamas
Yeah, you
being-
can't, you know. And I've been
Like,
saying openly,
when you see that they were like celebrating and stuff, like it kind of is like, well, this is why what's happening to you is happening. You were happy that they did what they did, so you can't cry when they retaliate.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah,
see
that's
it.
yeah. He makes sense, bro.
That's
right
why
there.
that video of them
Yeah, if
celebrating
you-
Hamas
yeah, you
being-
can't, you know. And I've been
Like,
Yeah,
saying
you
openly,
cannot cry later, bro.
when you see that they
cannot
were
do
like
that.
celebrating and stuff, like it kind of is like, well, this is why.
If
what's
you revel
happening
in
to
the
you is
death
happening.
of
You were
people
happy
from-
that they did what they
from
did, so you can't cry
another
when they
side,
retaliate.
another side.
That's how I see
You
it.
cannot cry when people from your side get
Happening to you is
slaughtered.
happening. You were happy that they did what they did, so you can't cry when they retaliate.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Justify that video of them celebrating Hamas
Yeah, you
being-
can't, you know. And I've been
Like,
saying openly,
when you see that they were like celebrating and stuff, like it kind of is like, well, this is why what's happening to you is happening. You were happy that they did what they did, so you can't cry when they retaliate.
yeah.
That's how I see it.
That video didn't mess
But
with me.
I do think what's happening is bad.
Yeah.
I
think it was. It's
Full stop.
I'm not gonna sit here and justify either.
Heck no.
Didn't one of y'all say they all female?
Yeah, no, they have like soldiers in the West Bank and Gaza. I don't know if it's West Bank or Gaza. I just didn't see. I don't know which one at all, but I'll have some soldiers. I've seen Israel soldiers like going into the hospital and like showing like shell cases.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So they're on foot. I've seen a tank also.
Explain something to you, Piers.
You don't
If I were
prescribe
to
this.
if I would sit here and say, is stealing wrong? And you'd say yes, and I go, but what if the person stealing is trying to feed their family and if they don't, their family are gonna die?
good
Is it
reason-
still wrong?
a good reason
You're
to
trying
steal,
take
but
a very
it's-
nuanced
but it's-
and complicated argument
No,
and reduce it down to
Andrew,
one
the
sentence,
same-
which is failure.
You're
He
trying
did
to
it.
equate stealing.
They
with-
stole for a good reason, a positive reason to feed their families. That's is stealing is still a crime. You should not steal. It's unjustifiable, bro. Like, yeah, you got families to feed, you got people to feed, but you don't want to risk losing your freedom. You don't. If you get arrested, you won't be able to feed your family. If you get arrested, if you get put behind bars, you won't be able to feed your family. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, just because bro. People's mindsets are not strong. A lot of people are not strong-minded. They don't have. They think criminality is the only option, bro. They think criminality, bro. They think robbing. They think robbing, stealing, looting. They think deludedly that is the only option, bro. That's not the only option. That's a scarcity. That is a scarcity mindset, bro. People have to kill that. Kill the scarcity mindsets. You're your mindset is important. It starts with that, with your mind. If you think that's the only option, man, yeah, that's sad. It's like people throw away their freedoms, bro. Their freedom. It's not even worth it. Yeah. Like I get it. I empathize with the people who steal to feed their families. I get it. I understand. But it's still it's not condonable to steal, bro. It's not good. It's not right. It's it doesn't matter the reason that the action is still bad, regardless of the reason. You cannot excuse it, even though certain people steal to feed their families. You still cannot excuse that action, bro. If that makes sense, you still cannot excuse that action. You cannot, bro. It's indubitably inexcusable, bro. Full stop. There's consequences for your actions. You have to face negative consequences for negative actions. And like the wokies, they make excuses for criminals, bro. And Andrew Tate right now, he sounds like a wokie. He sounds like the people that he speaks out against. He sounds like them, bro. He sounds hypocritical, bro. Andrew Tate, Andrew Tate be bugging, bro. This dude, this guy is a clown, bro.
Very nuanced and complicated argument, and reduce it down to one sentence, which is failure.
You're trying to equate stealing with a mob of terrorists breaking over a border, going to peaceful.
Is that what Israel did?
Wait a minute.
A mob of terrorists
Wait a minute.
breaking
Let me finish. Going to a border on October the 7th, massacring young people at a festival.
Both bad things: stealing, mass
murdering, their heads off,
murdering.
killing babies.
Two different levels, but they're both bad.
I'm not being flippant. The point I am making. No, but the point I am making is that the media lies. Firstly, secondly,
I can ask you about different things at the same time, right? So I'm asking you first of all specifically, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Sure, I'll answer the question professionally.
Piers was saying that Andrew was doing the false equivalence, BS. Two different stealing is not on the same level as mass slaughter of people. They're both terrible, but the levels are different.
What is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Sure, I'll answer the question professionally. I do not condone the loss of human life on either side.
Yes.
I think anybody doing anything.
That's a logical statement.
I can ask you
death
on
any side.
Right?
That's
I'm
logical.
asking you first of all specifically, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Sure, I'll answer the question professionally. I do not condone the loss of human life on either side.
Yes.
I think anybody doing anything which directly damages civilians is disgusting and abhorrent.
Yes.
However, I would be an amateur if I could not sit and pretend I do not understand the motivations behind either side. This is not even me taking a side.
Empathy
I
is
understand why
important.
Israel is doing what it's doing. I
People
understand
from
why
both
Palestine is
sides
doing what it's doing.
should have
However,
empathy.
I still call the
That
Israeli
doesn't mean that you
actions
justify
absolutely
it.
abhorrent and
Empathy is
genocidal.
different from justifying.
But in terms of what Hamas did on October the 7th, do you accept that was an act of terrorism?
Empathy is
It's an interesting
different
question
from
because
Well, it's not really.
justifying.
it is. No,
It's a very
it truly is.
straightforward
Because
question.
you're the person who would have called Nelson Mandela a terrorist while he was still in jail. And one person's terrorist and another person's freedom fighter.
I would
For me to
have
answer the question, yes, you would have. For me to answer the question, I have to be very professional, Piers. For me to sit on the outside in Romania with no personal involvement in Israel-Palestine, it's easy for me to say, yes, it was an act of terror. However,
It was
if I was
terror.
in Gaza, if I was in an open-air prison, if my family had been annihilated by bombs from the sky, if everybody I knew had suffered the loss of a loved one, if I had no chance of any kind of freedom or democracy or standard of life, would I believe it was an act of terror, or would I believe it's an act of resistance against oppression?
That person
You
will
have to be very
believe that
careful how you answer
it's
these questions.
resistance.
I think
But
I understand.
that doesn't mean
what
that it
happens
is
when you take
resistance.
people and put them in such an inhumane
It's
condition.
terror.
For anybody
It's
to
not
sit and say
resistance.
that you're going to take people and put them in absolute
But I empathize
inhumane
with the people that
conditions
think
and give them
that
no
it is.
standard of life, and they're not allowed to ever fight back, or they're.
I get why
Anyone who does
Hamas
that
did
is
what
an
it
amateur.
I
did,
can agree with you.
but it's uncondonable
Yeah.
that innocent Israeli people got killed. Uncondonable, bro. And the fact that a lot of people cannot say that it's uncondonable, that it's uncondonable, that uncondonable, that Hamas is a terroristic group is wild, bro. The fact that certain people cannot say that Hamas is a terror group is goofy, man. I sympathize with the families of the deceased on both sides. Both sides. I empathize with the people that I empathize with people that support terrorism, but I don't. It's not condonable. Hamas is a terror group. IDF is a terror group. They both, they both eliminated people, bro. The Israeli president, he said that no Palestinian is innocent. That's crazy, bro. That person is demonic. It's crazy that Piers did not call out that guy, the Israeli president, because
and they're not allowed to ever fight back, or they're.
he's scared of pissing off his Israeli friends, his Jewish
for many
friends,
decades has been absolutely
Jewish
So what think we know what's going to happen here?
his Jewish
Nothing
friends.
justifies what happened on October 7th.
So what are they supposed to do?
Nothing.
So what are they supposed to
That
do?
was an act of medieval barbaric terrorism. Nothing justifies
Did
it.
they suffer
And you're
acts of
attempting,
medieval?
you're
did they suffer
attempting to
acts of
try and
medieval
equivocate.
Did they suffer acts of medieval barbaric terrorism before that date? Yes. And it's unfortunately an eye for an eye in this world.
Tell me-
I'm not condoning.
Give me-
I'm being a professional and answering
Give
to
me
you
one
why it
example.
happened.
Give me one example of where Israel, without any
Piers is
provocation,
biased too.
went
He's
into-
biased.
no, a
He's
specific
simping
went
for
into
that
Gaza
side.
and massacred 15
For IDF,
innocent
for the-
people, cutting their heads off, taping
Just
and
like
posting
a lot
them
of
what they've
other,
done back to
people,
their
Ben
families in
Shapiro,
Israel,
certain people.
kidnapping Holocaust survivors, bringing them, they wouldn't have, of course, done that negative, kidnapping old grandmothers and bringing them
Piers
back to
has
Israel,
good points,
kidnapping
but
babies, kidnapping children. What is Israel actually
He's
done
also
in
a
and done
hypocrite.
something?
He called Andrew Tate a hypocrite, but he's a hypocrite
Give
too.
me one.
Hold on, in 2014 they were bombing.
They're both
But
hypocrites.
so if Andrew Tate was saying like, you know, they started off before this and that, whoop de whoop.
They're both simping for one side. Andrew Tate is simping for the Palestinians, simping for the Palestinians, the Muslims,
So you not, and you say you're a Christian.
his the people that follow Islam like him, his Muslim friends, his Palestinian, the people that he knows that follow Islam,
So far.
that are Muslims, that
I
are
feel like Andrew Tate
he's
is
scared of pissing them off, just like Piers is scared of pissing
And is it
the
Israel?
Israeli people off.
Keep making more points.
Bassem was cooking. He was spitting. Bassem
Kidnapping
was
Holocaust
cooking.
survivors,
He
bringing them,
showed
they wouldn't
that
have
graph.
done that
The
negative,
more
kidnapping old
Palestinians got
grandmothers.
slaughtered, then Israel.
Kidnapping Holocaust survivors, bringing them, they wouldn't have, of course, done that negative, kidnapping old grandmothers and bringing them back to Israel, kidnapping babies, kidnapping children. When has Israel actually gone in and done something of this October the 7th?
There's literally endless
Piers
examples.
is
Give me
bugging.
one.
In 2014, they were bombing
Let me
civilians.
tell you.
You know what? Piers, let me tell you something.
I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about what they're
No.
categorized as retaliation for rocket strikes, and there's an arguable point, as there is, for example, I'm vehemently against the expansion of the settlements on the West Bank. I think there are legitimate questions about the proportionality.
He doesn't
of
condemn
Israel's
IDF
response
though. He
here.
doesn't
But in terms
say
of
that
what
IDF
Hamas
is a terror
perpetrated
group.
on October the
That
7th,
IDF
there is no,
is a
no,
terror group,
no
just
instance
like
of
Hamas.
Israel doing that to the
Its
people
failure
of Gaza.
is
And you have to accept that. You don't accept that,
detestable.
you're either deluded or you're deliberately not wanting to say the obvious. which is
Andrew
that was
doesn't
an
have
act of
to
terrorism,
accept
because
that
you're concerned about
there's
upsetting
no
people in
Israel.
Palestine.
Israel
Is
did
that the
nothing
case?
wrong. Pierce is bugging, bro. I don't like Andrew Tate, but he doesn't have to accept that BS that Pierce just said. That Israel did nothing wrong. That's crazy. That's
Nothing
nonsense.
justifies terrorism on that scale. Nothing.
It's asinine.
No, it's not.
Let me tell you
why.
It's not about
Let me tell you.
You don't understand the realities of the world.
Let me tell you the reality of the world. Hamas came to power in 2005. Hamas's initial founding charter made it clear that they are for the eradication of Israel.
Extermination.
And on October the 7th, they proved what that means is they will kill every Jew they can get their
In the
hands
past.
on. They are an existential threat
That's
to
horrible.
people in
That's
Israel
demonic.
and to Jewish people. And that is, I'm afraid,
Devoid
pure
of
personification
rectitude.
of territory. I also
Yeah.
think by doing what they did,
He makes
as they
sense
have
right
done
here.
since
Pierce.
2005, they weren't representing innocent Palestinian people in Gaza.
Well, suffering.
They knew, yes, but Hamas knew when they did what they did, that Israel would respond the way they did, and thousands of innocent Palestinians were
I think
killed.
they did.
They knew that, and they still did it. So my question for you is, why can't you, my position on this is very straightforward. What Hamas did was an act of terror.
Yes.
An absolutely despicable act of terror.
Indubitably.
Exactly what it is. And they are now demonstrably a terrorist.
Incontrovertible.
That is why they were rightly described by the UK
Incontrovertibly.
and American other countries. And to try and
Incontrovertibly.
pretend they're not makes you sound like Jeremy Corbyn. Like
Jeremy Corbyn is a British politician
So,
he's a former, the former leader of the Labour Party in the UK. The Labour Party was formed to give working class people a voice.
It is peddling asininities for you to pretend.
He was
that
called.
slavery-
You sound like
He
Jeremy
was.
Corbyn.
Certain people said that he is an anti-Semite. Yeah, he refused to answer Pierce's question. Do you condemn Hamas? Is Hamas a terror group?
I think that if you lock people in the open air,
Corbyn
prisons, steal their
refused.
land, they're going to retaliate.
So they're not
15
terror.
times, bro.
I think they're going to
Crazy.
retaliate.
They're not a terror.
Corbyn is a goofy too.
What do you think?
I think that if you lock people in the open air prison and steal their land, they're going to
A
retaliate.
coward,
they're not
pusillanimous.
I think they're going to retaliate.
They're not a terror group.
One team's terrorist is
Okay,
another.
we're now into
They won't say either.
are they a terror group?
And also,
Yes, they say yes or no, bro.
Only Jeremy Corbyn.
If certain people cannot say yes or no, that's crazy. That dude, pro-Palestinian dude on Talk TV, he couldn't, I forgot his name, so many were on Talk TV. He couldn't say yes or no either.
And a lot of people that stand with Palestine, they come and have
But salute to the people that said yes or no. Hamas, I meant to say Mohammed Hijab, Bassem Youssef.
He's doing it better than women. Nobody is saying yes or no. How the hell can you not say that that is a fact? How the hell can you not say that to me? Because like, that doesn't mean that's not saying anything wrong with Palestine.
Facts.
They said Hamas themselves. Only
Hamas,
Hamas.
different
only
from
Hamas, only Hamas.
innocent Palestinians. Full stop. What's so difficult? Yeah, the Congresswoman, the Democratic, the woke Congresswoman, Rashida Tlaib, Palestinian, she couldn't condemn Hamas. She couldn't demonize Hamas. Crazy, man. She refused to answer the female journalist, the female journalist question. She couldn't answer it though. Crazy.
I say that that is a fact. How the hell can you not say that to me? Because like, that doesn't mean that's not saying anything wrong with Palestine. It's saying Hamas themselves. Only Hamas. Only Hamas. Only Hamas. It's a tennis group. I also like this is not hard.
Some people walk in on me. They lock us in this room.
It's different, bro. We come out the room and we see, I don't know, 20 people. And we got guns. We might shoot everybody.
That's different. That's not hate.
Okay, so I got a question.
That is like that.
Will you call the Black Panthers a terrorist group if they went to house to house?
How is that not like a buzzer?
You know, house.
Okay, I'm just talking about being trapped in one area.
Okay.
So why won't anyone else take them if they're from the same religion?
Yeah, that is the biggest question.
There's 40 Muslim countries in it.
I think they
40,
don't take them
40,
because you don't
and
know.
no one this whole time. They said it's been so bad since before October 7th. So why did they take them before October 7th? It's so bad.
I think because they think they're extremists and they're terrorists. Yeah.
So everyone, even people from their own religion, think that they are a terrorist group. Hamas, not talking about Palestine. Hamas, exclusively Hamas. If there's Palestinian people saying Hamas,
No, nobody wants to take them out. We're talking about the Palestinian people. They don't want to take regular Palestinian people because they probably
But
don't
Hamas.
In Gaza, like, you can't tell
Exactly.
Hamas who's not.
Yeah,
So
Mm.
some of them celebrating Hamas,
Yeah.
what they did.
People are saying, I wouldn't take their ass either.
Okay, so
We
then,
gotta,
I don't know.
we gotta
So-
see where everybody is coming
so
from.
you would take them because why?
Because they
There's a
think
terrorist
they're
group among them.
But we found out some of them are in the UK.
But all I'm saying is that
Hamas are among
my
us.
only argument is I'm saying is Hamas is a terrorist group.
Facts.
And I say,
Undoubtedly.
yes, they are.
I think so too.
Indisputably.
That's all I'm saying.
I think so too. But some people that really know the history behind it, they think that they can justify it.
Yeah.
That's
It-
what
it's-
people-
it's-
well,
it-
that's
it's-
not-
Started out as a
There's like the same thing he said
Not
with the Black
justifiable.
Panther.
It did start
The Black
as a
Panthers didn't go kill
resistance.
1,500 white people. They
Resistance.
See,
they would be a terrorist.
Yeah.
That's why Yusuf did a great job because he broke down kind of.
Yeah, Boston, he
KKK,
was,
that was a terrorist group.
Yeah.
For sure.
Was and is.
yeah,
It was
The Nazis, terrorists.
terrorists.
And we formed a group.
PIJ.
But it wasn't Hamas.
Hezbollah, the Lebanese,
I'm gonna keep it a hundred. Black Lives Matter.
BLM. I think BLM is, that's what I think, political terrorists. The BLM radicals, bro, the anti-white people, the woke.
Terror group is terror group is to destroy.
And was sitting there outside the cage laughing at us, and we got a nine here, and we looking at the time going down, and we got to be out. We're not gonna come out there and blow everybody down, bro. He's saying that they're
You justified it basically saying, so you saying it's self-defense, not terror. That's what you're sitting there saying. Because you gave an example of self-defense. So just say, is it self-defense or is it a terrorist group?
I'm not saying that it's self-defense, but I'm not saying that people are gonna have a guns with us. I'm saying that they trapped us in there, right?
You don't be defending yourself.
Then they open the gate, and then you have a gun, and they're just sitting there. What are you gonna do? You been trapped and starved.
That is not the same.
How is that? I'm putting you in the position of what you would do.
Bro, hey, bro, okay, look at the definition. Look at the definition of a terrorist group, bro.
Bro, but going and killing 1,500 people and being locked in cages laid out is a completely.
Bro, look at the definition of a
He's kind of
terrorist
saying that
group.
they feel like they've been.
Look up the definition of a terrorist group, so you can really get this.
Yeah, let's just Google that alone.
That will show you what is a terrorist group. It is terror,
If it-
destruction.
Bro, I said they was a terrorist group. I'm not
Under
saying
that category, that classification.
I said they were a terrorist group. And then I'm saying these people are arguing that they're not.
No, I know what the argument is. I know, yeah. They said that they did the terror because they were oppressed. Yeah, they say. And I can't justify what they did from that. I can't.
Right.
People have not done anything on that level, but it's been slavery. They basically saying that these people are.
But they're not enslaved. They're not beaten.
But they, I don't know.
We don't know what black people are
Well, they
saying.
said they have been committing genocide against their people, so.
Remember, we know what a terrorist is. Well, they are.
Give us your definition.
It's a terrorist group.
All right.
We know that.
That's it then. That's all. That was my only.
Definitely
You're now
a
about
terrorist
three or
group.
four. If you
Hamas.
are they a terror group or not?
They're one team's freedom fighter, and they're deemed a terrorist.
Certain people, they say these elongated answers. That's what Andrew Tate is
So they're not terrorists.
doing too. Instead of saying yes or no, he's evading.
And also, another thing I want to make clear.
He's on that evasive time. He's
Refuse to
on
answer the question.
the
I
evasive
think that what
time.
they are doing is seemingly deemed an act of terror by the
That
people that the
evasive
terrorists
time.
Weasley word.
They're not Weasley.
That
Of course the Israelis
evasive
think they're a
time.
terror group, and of course the Palestinians think
Actually,
they're freedom fighters.
most
It's
of the-
stupid that you're asking the question.
Most of the civilized world thinks a terror. Get rid of an act of terror. It's not difficult. What
It's
they
not
think was an act of
difficult.
And I
terror.
think that if Israel
Answer the
continues
question.
to
Answer the
conduct
question.
acts of
I'm
terrorism
going to-
upon the Palestinian people, they're going to do nothing
I'm
but
going to come
strengthen the
Oh,
reaction.
the elongated
That's a
answer.
different conversation I'm about to have
Garbage.
with you about Israel's response.
Say yes
Before
or
I get
no.
there, one
Or
more
no,
time.
that's it. That's
Is
it.
Hamas a terror group that
Yes
committed an act of
or no.
terrorism?
Yes.
Yes,
Say yes.
undoubtedly.
Okay, you're not going to answer the issue. Think
No,
about
no,
it.
I have to, people who are mercy persons, I want to say.
If you don't mind me saying, I think it's spineless.
Yes,
Sure.
it is.
I do.
That's fine.
You sound like Jeremy
Pu-
Corbyn.
yeah.
That- that-
You see that
Pusillanimous.
interview with him?
No.
Right.
Who the hell is
15
Jeremy
times.
Corbyn?
The former leader of the Labour Party
15
in the
times
UK.
he prevaricated with an answer. Eventually, when someone does that enough times, you know what they really think.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
don't think they're a
Well,
terrible.
let me ask
You don't think they're a terrible.
No,
He
what I
doesn't
think is
think
this.
that.
I'm sure
It's
there's
I'd be really curious what you think an act of terror is if it's not massacring 1,500 innocent people,
It's not
including Holocaust survivors,
Piers.
kidnapping babies, decapitating people.
He's saying decapitated
Yeah,
babies.
talk about
Yeah,
missing limbs. We're gonna talk
so
about that when we
he
talk about
believes
the
that 40
Well,
babies
again,
got
then,
decapitated.
it'll be
That's
context.
Bassem
You're not admitting
said
that
that.
was an
Well, let me
I
ask you
said
a question
it
for the
too.
final time.
There's no evidence.
I am a
I
realist.
knew that before I
And
saw
as
the
a
Bassem
realist,
video. That there's no evidence to prove that 40 babies got decapitated, bro. Got beheaded. Bassem said that Piers said that 40 babies got decapitated. Piers said that he did not say that. He said that 40 babies got killed. That's true. But 40 babies did not. Yeah. But Bassem said he thought he heard Piers say 40 babies got killed. Beheaded, I meant to say. I think Piers said that too, though, that they got beheaded.
Get started for free at SmileDirectClub.com.
Yeah. So is he? Did he forget that? Did Piers forget? Did he truly forget, or did he intentionally forget? Yeah, that's crazy. He thinks that happened.
Yeah, talk about missing limbs. We're gonna talk about that when we talk about
Blindly, he blindly
It'll
accepts
be in the context of you not
accepts
admitting that was an act of
Well,
terror.
let me answer the
believes
question for the final time.
that 40 babies got
I am a
beheaded.
realist.
There's no evidence to substantiate, to corroborate.
Context of you not admitting that was an act of
Well,
terror.
let me answer the question for the final time.
This man,
I am a realist. And as a
it's
realist,
wild.
sometimes
Piers.
you do not come to the conclusion of blatantly good guys and bad guys. The world is not.
Raping women.
Yeah, talk about missing limbs. We're gonna talk about that when we talk about.
We are. But when we get there, it'll be in the context of you not admitting that was an act of
Well, let
terror.
me answer the question for the final time. I am a realist. And as a realist, sometimes you do not come to the conclusion of blatantly good guys and bad guys. The world is not black and white.
Hamas is bad guys.
The world is not black and white. The world is actually very gray. Anybody who sits and thinks there's
No side is completely innocent. That's what I would say. IDF is not completely innocent. The other side is not completely innocent.
Why they happen, how
IDF
unfortunate
is
they
not
are, how
innocent.
unfortunate
Hamas is
human
not
life
innocent.
how civilians
The
die on both
innocent
sides,
Palestinians
how
are
innocents
innocent.
dying in a
The
chest game played
truly
by the
innocent
elites
people
on
there
both
are
sides.
innocent.
Both
The
sides
truly
are
innocent Israeli
both
people
of
are
us making
innocent.
the decisions for ensuring their death, signing their death
But
warrants.
IDF,
Unfortunately,
Hamas, they're not
on both sides.
innocent.
But listen, sir, you would not advocate.
There's
Russia
good and bad
doing
people,
any of the
but
things to Ukraine that Israel
not
is doing to-
everybody on one side is bad. Not everybody is good.
Russia has been doing exactly that.
There's good and bad, though, a duality. You know what I mean? In the universe.
Vote for the person making the decisions for ensuring their death, signing their death warrants. It's unfortunate on both sides.
Okay.
But
I see what he's saying.
you understand why they happen, how unfortunate they are,
You
how
can't
unfortunate the loss of human
say
life
that
how
IDF
civilians
is
die on both sides, how
good
innocents
or
are dying in a chest game played by the
Israel
elites
is
on both sides.
100% good. You cannot say Palestine is 100% good.
Sides, how innocents are dying in a chess game played by the
You'd be
elites
foolish to
on both
say that.
sides. Both sides
agree
are
with
doing
that.
People didn't even vote for the person making the decisions.
You will be inane to say that.
Sides, how innocents are dying in a chess game played by the elites on both sides. Clearly a bad guy does not understand how the world works. And as a realist, what you do is you look at scenarios and you understand why they happen, how
There's truly good
unfortunate they
people,
are,
there's
how
truly bad
unfortunate the
people.
loss of human life is,
Nobody's
how
perfect.
civilians die on both
Certain
sides, how
good
innocents
people
are dying in a chess game
can do
played by the
bad
elites
things.
on
Bad people
both
can do.
sides. Both sides
agree with
are
that.
people who
Certain
vote
things
for the
that
person
bad
making
people
the
do are
decisions
good.
for ensuring
Certain
their
things
death,
that
signing
good
their
people
death
do are
warrants. It's
bad.
unfortunate on both sides.
Okay.
But listen, sir.
Nobody's infallible.
You need to vote for the person making the decisions for ensuring their death, signing their death warrants. It's unfortunate on both sides.
Okay.
But listen, sir, you would not advocate Russia doing any of the things to Ukraine that Israel is doing to that you understand why they happen, how unfortunate they are, how unfortunate the loss of human life is, how civilians die on both sides, how innocents are dying in a chess game played by the elites on both sides. Both sides
agree
are
with
innocent
that.
people who didn't even vote for the person making the decisions for ensuring their death, signing their death warrants. It's unfortunate on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah,
But listen,
it is.
sir, you would not advocate Russia doing any of the things to Ukraine that Israel is doing to Palestine. You would not sit
Russia
here.
has been doing exactly that.
Russia has
Ukraine.
not done a fraction
Russia
of the things to
illegally,
Ukraine
Russia,
that Israel has done to Palestine.
Russia illegally invaded a sovereign democratic country and has committed a barbaric rampage, trying to seize as much of Ukraine as it can.
Good example, bro.
Bombing maternity hospitals,
Let me ask you a
killing
question.
innocent women
Let me
and
ask you a
children.
question. They was bombing hospitals in Ukraine.
No, this is taking
Ain't nobody crying.
But Piers still fails to condemn IDF, to condemn the Israeli president who said no Palestinian is
Ukraine
innocent.
sent a drone and hit the Kremlin.
Why does he not condemn
If Russia decided to then
president?
respond with a missile attack
The
on a
Israeli
hospital
president?
and annihilate
He's pusillanimous
It
too.
has been.
do you
He's
think that
cowardly
would
too.
be allowed?
Exactly what it has been.
Would you advocate for that?
Have you seen?
Would you support
He's
that?
scared
Have you
of
seen
backlash, of cancellation
Level to the ground.
the Ukrainians
from the
do
mob.
correct?
No, the Russian
2014.
The Russian level barrier bomb.
And my question to you is, would you
You gotta have a
advocate those
spine,
reactions?
you gotta have
Yes,
a
no.
background.
This is a genuine question. Let me ask you a question. I want to understand your point.
It's actually
If,
lying
if
to
you
do with
lose
you.
people, it is what it
I
is.
understand mine. I just want to
You
understand
gotta
your
tell
point.
the truth, man. You gotta be brave. You gotta be
If I were
honest,
or Israel,
candid.
that one of the people in your house
All this hypothetical.
and decided to destroy your entire house and kill your entire family, would you sit and say, well, maybe there was a terrorist inside, I accept that? Or would you be enraged?
Enraged.
I don't think you can take an individual person's response.
Well, it's a bunch of
Furious.
individual
As
people in
fuming.
Israel. They're people, individuals with
Right,
thoughts and
let's come-
dreams and aspirations
Fine.
which are being annihilated. 15-year-old girls without legs.
Incensed,
Let's come to
irate, livid.
They're not cattle.
Let's come to
They're
that.
people.
Right, so were the people in Israel over the
And that's why it's so heinous, which is my exact point.
But not heinous.
Yeah, his bias is
Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Pierce's bias is definitely
By not saying
wild.
made your position clear. Just as Jeremy Corbyn. And to pretend you're any different.
But he has good points though. Andrew does
I'll come
too.
back to the
But he has a bias.
Today I'm sharing my
He's
tips
biased
for enjoying
too.
weed
He's biased
responsibly.
for the
First,
Palestine
weed
side.
productivity don't mix.
The people who say
Ridiculous. Let's move on
he
to
doesn't
Israel's
have a
response.
bias
Right.
are simply foolish,
A massive-
over-credulous people. Sycophants of Andrew Tate. Mollifiers of Andrew Tate.
It's ridiculous. Let's move on.
Placaters. Brown nosers.
By not saying
Brown nosers.
made your position clear.
Nosers.
Just as Jeremy Corbyn. And to pretend you're any different is ridiculous.
Mm.
Let's move on to Israel's response.
That's what I
There
wanna
are
hear.
legitimate questions about this. Hamas embeds itself, 35, 40,000 terrorists in my estimation, you can call them whatever you like. And they're embedded amongst the civilian population, predominantly in northern Gaza. We know from intelligence over the last 20 years, which you won't believe because the Matrix has made it all up, we know from intelligence historically Hamas likes to embed itself, particularly around things like schools and hospitals and mosques, because that makes it more difficult if the Israelis attack them. Now, Israel has killed nearly 12,000 people in its response, right? There are many people around the world demanding a ceasefire who think that is a ridiculously disproportionate response to what happened. Well, it was genocide. They would want to kill everyone in Palestine. They don't.
They just want to drive them all out.
Whereas Hamas do want to kill every Jew. That is actually what genocide is.
You know what's actually interesting? Because you've spoken about this subject
I
more,
think Pierce needs
who
to.
actually understand the
should
conflict
condemn the
better than I do. Mohammed
TikTokers.
understands it better. Loki understands it better.
The
I'm talking from a
TikTokers.
very general humanistic perspective. Because I
Israeli
don't understand the
TikTokers
absolute intricacies like
that
they
mock
Do you know what
the
genocide
deaths
means?
Of
of
course I do.
Palestinians.
Genocide means you want to eradicate
They're
entire
devilish.
people based on race or
Yes,
ethnicity.
yes, that's the
Israel
definition
clearly
of
doesn't
genocide.
want to do that to the
I don't
Palestinian
know about that. They said they
Pierce
wanted
is
to
bugging.
level it to the ground. didn't they?
He's so he's
No, there are-
yeah, he's simping hard for
Well,
Israel,
some people
Israel,
don't.
bro.
Hell, some people go ahead.
Yes.
Some people go ahead.
You know what?
Andrew, somebody said that someone on the show said.
I thought we saw a video where they said like they're not worried about accurate strikes, they just worried about like destroying.
Somebody said that. Somebody said.
Yeah, I think that was
Anybody on Israel side said that.
But was it a source?
Yeah, it was somebody said.
I thought that was a
Nigga
source.
said,
Oh, my mistake.
I
Somebody
think
said.
it was Bean or Nikki, that's what I thought it was. That's what sounded clear.
That was in response to Iran. That's what Nikki was talking about.
So then,
Nikki
if I
Haley,
had been because I remember me saying,
Republican presidential
I
candidate.
thought we said saw somewhere where they said they weren't worried about accuracy of the strikes. They were just worried about destroying it all.
That's what I did. He was saying like somebody said to Israel that was their plan.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I remember that though.
Happens.
You know what, Andrew?
Wait till it's your son.
You know what,
Wait till it's your
I
son.
agree. And you know what, Andrew? War is horrific. It's horrific. The
Detestable.
question is it a just war for Israel to go after Hamas? And if it is, and you believe as I do, Hamas has to be got rid of, how do you do that? If you don't do it the way Israel is doing it, how do you get rid of that terror group? Now, you won't agree with anything they're doing because you can't even categorize them as a terror group.
No, the reason I won't agree with it is because I'm a human. Please let me answer this without being interrupted. You didn't answer my earlier question for a reason, because you didn't say you couldn't answer without proving my point. The question about the fact that if they decided to cruise missile your house because they thought somebody inside was a terrorist, you would not accept the loss of your family that you have raised. You would not accept that. Okay, absolutely. So let me answer this as a professional. What's funny is I'm a humanist. Like I said,
Professional what?
I'm the professional.
What are you? What are you? What are you speaking?
I'm
You say
a
you're speaking
professional, and
professional.
I'm talking about this from a humanistic perspective, right? And like I said, you've talked to people more knowledgeable than me on the details of the subject. Right. Listen to me very carefully. I thought we lived in a democratic society. You just said 35,000 Hamas terrorists, and this is the thing that's most upsetting. This is what genuinely upsets me. Israel intelligence would say a guy's a mass terrorist. Has that guy gone through a court of law? Has there been a democratic process? Has he been proven to be a terrorist? No. They've just decided from their intelligence that couldn't see an invasion coming from hundreds of miles away. So this intelligence is
Actually, no.
it's not correct.
No.
So they've decided this person might be in intelligence without court case, without any kind of democratic process, and because of that, they've decided to annihilate civilians along with him, and it's all just collateral damage, and nobody should care. That is not a humanistic perspective, and that is disgusting. And any from their intelligence that couldn't see an invasion coming from hundreds of miles away. So this intelligence is
Actually, no.
it's not great.
No.
So they've decided this person might be in intelligence without court case, without any kind of democratic process, and because of that, they've decided to annihilate civilians along with him, and it's all just collateral damage, and nobody should care. That is not a humanistic perspective, and that is disgusting. And any person in the West who is advocating for that is a hypocrite. If it was turned on them, if the American government said, we think the person in your shopping mall, one of the people you were shopping alongside in the mall, might have committed a crime. We didn't take them to court. We think they might have, so we killed your whole family. Get over it.
So the last time,
He's a clown and a hypocrite.
so the last time,
What do you expect
the last,
full-grown men
I'm
to
about to
do?
respond.
What do you expect full-grown men to do when you kill all of their families and leave them walking and open
Let
in
me
prison?
respond.
Yeah.
The last time that Jews
Take over response.
That's a good question.
was in World War II. And
You
the
cannot
Nazis
expect them to be
wanted
positive,
take over the
to
world,
be
kill every
nice,
Jewish
to
person. The Nazis
you
were
oppressed
ultimately
them,
defeated
mistreated
by
them,
Winston Churchill and
subjected
the Allies. And
subjected
Winston
them
Churchill, in the process
to
of
maltreatment,
defeating the Nazis, killed a lot
mistreatment
of
for
German innocent
years,
civilians in the
decades,
process. Do you think
for
that was
years,
justified?
decades.
Let me ask a question.
Was it? Well, no, I asked the question.
If you mistreat people, you cannot expect good treatment back from that person
No, I don't think
that you mistreated.
I believe that
The number continues to go up every week, though.
But that doesn't mean that
Remember, it was like 10,000 last week. It's at 13,000 people now.
13,000 what?
it doesn't justify violence, physical violence against
Civilians get injured is bad. It's very, very
against
bad.
the person that mistreated. But it's understandable. I mean, the people that created the monster, they don't get held accountable, but only the person that responds to the maltreatment, to the abuse, the incessant abuse, they're the monsters. But it's all, they only blame one side. Both sides are at fault.
He is actually getting on his ass.
Both should be held
Exactly
accountable,
what Hamas did on the
not just one side.
So you literally just
People that
described
fail
what Hamas did on
to hold both accountable are
They're trying to genocide the Palestinians.
cornballs.
And this is the exact point.
So Israel,
No, but the city
hang on, so you think Israel are terrorists?
I think that what they're doing now is just
Are
proportionate.
cornballs,
So I guess that
biased,
is
Right, so
partial.
they're terrorists for responding to an act of terror.
Angie was quick to say Nazis were terroristic, but not quick to demonize Hamas. To say Hamas is terroristic.
It's not an act of terror by terrorists.
Unbelievable.
You say Hamas are terrorists? Did you say Israel?
Unbelievable.
No, the fact that you're saying it's terroristic.
The simpery, man, the spinelessness, the pusillanimity, the cowardice, the yellowness, he's not. The evasion, the evasiveness, Unbelievable, man.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
So I can see how you
Unbelievable.
could say that's terrorism.
Yeah, I just gotta see what happened.
They're both pusillanimous though, Pierce and Andrew Tate. Pierce calls Andrew Tate
Yeah,
spineless, but Pierce is spineless too on the other side.
From what Yusuf and other,
There's so much hypocrisy as far as this war, bro.
And it was pretty bad. That's what
So
got
many
me on
commentators,
the
so many people, they're so biased. It's sad.
Type thing. Just take it to land, basically. So when I see that, I'm just like, you know.
So unempathetic to people from the other side, people from the other side.
When they, she was,
Shameful, man.
like when they came back and paraded, she celebrated like the October 7th stuff. She lived in Israel, and they came and showed her a post and deported her back to Gaza. So she
Hell yeah,
got to get up out of here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Man, so you think it's really true? You think it's really true because of what happened in World War II, and they didn't know where to put the Jewish people, so they just made Israel right there. It wasn't there. No,
The UN gave them that land.
they gave them that and didn't turn it into Israel. That's what the story was saying. Like,
Those Palestine. But we as the US don't recognize Palestine as a nation.
But were they both? Yeah, I think they.
no, like the story.
If you go in the Bible, the Jews in Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's what the Bible said. But I know after World War II, like what the story said was when Hitler killed a lot of the Jews in
Yeah, so, but that
Europe,
was in Germany, right?
it was all over Europe.
And shout out to
And
Cartier
they said
family,
they
man.
nowhere else to
They
put
they
them,
make
so-
they make dope videos, man. They're funny. They
We don't have identified just
Because in the
fully.
Bible, and if they go.
they do music reactions. They do reactions,
It says
political reactions.
But they won't have a beef.
Versatile.
That's why I don't know, man. I'm sorry.
Like
I
this
remember also
video,
in the Bible,
check it out. Like, comment, share, sub, show love, tell them Devo the Ambivert's
So
sent you,
right, they
man.
had that land too, so it could be all type of timelines in the history.
Let's get them this channel to 1 million before next year. Under 2 million away.
I've seen and saw all types of shit.
Just under.
So
A few under.
What they are doing now.
Slaughtering 1,500 people in the way they did it is not an act of terror by terrorists, but a response from the people on the receiving end, rather like the response from the Allies in World War II to what the Nazis did.
They do interviews too. They interviewed Vivek Ramaswamy. Shout out to Vivek, Republican presidential candidate. Anti-woke.
It's terrible.
Vivek.
Terrible.
Anti-wokeism, I meant to
You
say.
say a few people go home. You don't think of Gazans, and you don't think of as Muslims and Palestinians as individual people.
Oh, yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Oh, I do. Oh, I do.
If you did, you
Oh, no,
would be happy with
don't
what's
you
happening.
dare say that about me.
Well, okay, then don't
No, no,
put
no.
them together in numbers.
No, I've spoken for many years about the plight of the Palestinian people. I think it's outrageous that Israel has any control over their ability to function with water, with fuel, with other energy, and so on.
Okay,
Food and
that's
so on.
interesting.
It
So
is-
if you were in Gaza as a Gazan male at masculine fighting age, and you believed the things you currently believe,
Yeah.
what would you do about it? I'm just asking.
You know what? Nothing justifies
I ain't gonna lie,
terrorism.
that
I never
was
said you
that
did
doesn't
that.
it's kind of
No, no,
justifying it, but
I understand.
that was a good
Want to know baby in the crib?
Yeah, no,
I
facts.
understand.
Facts.
I understand why they want the same rights.
But we're not in that position.
Ben, here's a perfect.
On that we
Okay.
agree. But
Absolutely.
nothing justifies what happened.
Well, here's where
No grandma, none of that.
No, doesn't matter. Well, we have a point. People inside of Gaza are being oppressed.
I know what I do.
Yeah.
And that they have no way of getting out.
Yes.
We, as a pressure
And I do agree with that.
I understand pressure cookers explode. You're pretending they shouldn't. You're saying that they should never explode. Nothing bad should ever
Saying
happen.
nothing justifies
You
terrorism.
should just be allowed to subjugate them
No,
for
no.
endless years
Here's
and
my-
nothing happens.
no.
And I'm a realist to understand that pressure cookers explode.
No, you're not.
That's what
No,
happens.
you're not.
We need a solution to the problem that should continue to happen.
You're not a realist because actually you are not accepting that what they did on October the 7th was an act of terrorism by terrorists. You won't accept that. You think actually they're freedom fighters doing something terrorism.
Delusion.
And I say that.
That's what it sounds.
And shades.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Idiotic.
That is exactly what
I understand that pressure cookers explode.
Dog-headed, thick-headed statement that Hamas is a freedom fighting group. Nah, bro.
A shame, that's
I
it.
think, I don't think it's reasonable. I think it's
Harebrained
a shame.
Natural
statement.
consequence.
Now it's a shame.
A shame, that's
I
it.
think
Done by terrorists. You won't accept that. You think actually they're freedom fighters doing something kind of resistance. And I
That's
say
crazy.
that's
How it
sounds.
a shame.
Exactly what I'm saying.
That's the difference.
That's exactly what
I
it
understand the pressure cookers explain this.
How many times
But
I've said
So you
that?
think it's perfectly
Thank you.
reasonable? Wow.
I don't
Empathy
disagree,
is
but I think it's
important.
a shame.
But you should not condone terrorism, bro.
A shame, that's it.
I think it's a shame that we're living in the world now where people are reduced to basically suicide to try and fight for freedom for their families if they have one left. Because they all commit suicide, those men who do that.
Well, the
They
Hamas-
didn't have a chance of survival. I think when you
Well, that's because they believe that they're martyrs themselves and they were better life.
oppress people to the point where their family's dead and they have nothing to live for.
So you-
I think that's a shame.
So you support Islamic fundamentalism?
Absolutely not.
You support an Islamist?
Why do you support Hamas?
You support Hamas?
No.
You don't?
Well, I don't really
condemn
know
them,
Hamas is free. I have to be very
Well,
honest.
you know what they did in October 7th?
Condemn them.
I understand why that happened. But I'm saying it's a shame.
But you won't denounce them.
I say it's a shame.
Will you condemn them?
I can't sit here and condemn the obvious outcome of consequence. How can I
You
condemn?
can't condemn Hamas for what they did.
I know for a fact that when Yusuf came on that, he said, both dudes, both the Islamic
Hajjah,
both
Boston
said,
Egyptian
condemn
people,
Hamas. Both
they
of them
both
did. That's why you can hear
demonized
their
Hamas.
arguments, because they did that. But if you can't do that, then you just...
Yeah, you are a goofy if you do not condemn
He's
Hamas.
not at all.
That is a
Not at
true
all. He
terroristic
said, though, that, like,
group.
okay, no, he has said it wrong. That's all he said.
Yeah, he
He
said
won't
that,
call it
but-
he won't call it terrorism.
It's problematic that he
Yet to do
fails
something
to
like that.
condemn.
Just condemn them. Just
It's almost like he is standing with he's standing with Hamas, not Hamas.
I can't sit here and condemn the obvious outcome of consequence. How can I
You
condemn?
can't condemn Hamas for what they did.
Well, we know what's going to happen, and we need a solution.
You're very quick to condemn Israel's response, but you won't condemn the terror attack.
No, I'll tell you why.
Even though
Oh,
Hamas
shit, he said no.
that would be the response.
You think they knew that?
Of course they would.
He
They
showed-
did. They did it
showed
quite
his true
themselves.
colors.
Why?
Colors.
Funded and supported
He's
by
a Hamas
Iran.
supporter.
They didn't like
He's
the
a
fact that
terrorism
Israel would
supporter.
normalize relations with a bunch of Arab countries, from the UAE,
That's
Bahrain,
the
to Morocco,
reality, man.
and
If
then
you don't
coming
like
down
the
the line
reality,
to
that's
Saudi
when-
Arabia.
if you don't-
That was a threat to
if
the
you are
Iran
averse
view
to the
of what should
truth,
be
that's
happening in
on
that
you.
region.
To
Iran
beat
are the
you,
ones who
that's
support
on
you
you.
fund and arm Hamas, and they clearly, in my estimation, well, it hasn't been properly established yet, but clearly Hamas couldn't have done this on their own. They've done it with support from Iran, and they've gone and then committed an act of such heinous atrocity that they knew what the response would be, and that means that they sentenced in that moment not just 1,500 people in Israel to death in the most appalling manner possible, but they also sentenced to death thousands and thousands of innocent Palestinians, including many innocent children, because half the population are children, and Hamas knew
Below-
that was what was going to happen. So my
below
question
18?
is, how can anyone think that Hamas is a force for good
I
for the
didn't say they're a
Palestinian
force for
people?
good.
They
I
are a
think they're-
force
I said they're
for evil.
unfortunate. No, I didn't say they're a force for good. I said it's a pressure cooker and it's a shame.
But you won't even
Let me
condemn
ask
them.
the question. Do you think if we gave Palestinian people basic human rights, that Hamas would find it more difficult to recruit new soldiers?
Yeah, look, I think
Probably.
I think
Probably if we treat them like
I think
humans,
I
it won't happen.
I think these
So we
things-
agree and let's move on.
I think there's a real danger in you radicalize a whole new generation of
Agreed.
Palestinians. I think that's a real danger.
So
And
perhaps-
and by the way, I've said that, we can agree on
So
that.
perhaps it was Israel's actions before October 7th that radicalized the soldiers who did. So you agree with me? So let's move on.
No, I don't. No, nothing justifies what they did.
I
Let me
can't
ask you about
justify
the
what
reaction.
they did.
Hell no.
Well,
I really
certain
can't.
people, who I think at one
Like,
stage,
The situation's bad, but it don't justify that.
one is Jordan
At all.
Pass, and the other one Ben Shapiro. Let's talk about Jordan first. You've had a bit of a to and fro with him, but what is your view of him?
I think Jordan and I actually agree on many issues. I think the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I think we have a lot more in common than we have that we disagree on. We have different views of the things he says are pretty well thought through and pretty constructive.
Let me
I have
tell-
nothing against him.
Let me turn to Ben Shapiro. So let me assure you, as someone who's not pimped women and bragged about his morality,
You talk about peace. He calls for the death of civilians, and somehow we're asking why my point of view is seen as abstract. Hey,
I believe if he was sitting and listening to this, he would say that what he's screaming
for other people's young men to go and die in some war. He seems to love it. I'm going to be a short man.
many in the same positions, and flexing his biceps, Listen, everyone should be able to tweet whatever it is they want. I'm all for an open discourse, even if
All the things he says are pretty well thought through and pretty constructive.
Let me
I have
tell-
nothing against him.
Let me turn to Ben Shapiro. See, let me assure you, as someone who's not pimped women and bragged about it, morality requires a life from rape, women, and kidnapping.
I like Jordan.
It must be eradicated, not negotiated with. He says on my show, I won't be lectured on morality and toughness by Andrew Tate. His great idea of toughness and morality is pimping women and bragging about it on air, and then trying to quasi-walk it back while simultaneously maintaining many of the same positions. It's doing myself.
Yes.
Everyone should be able to tweet whatever it is they want. I'm all for an open discourse.
He called him.
People who I think are dead wrong on a lot of issues. But Andrew Tate is dead wrong on a lot of these issues.
He told him.
Yeah, the tweet that Jordan Peterson
About being
said,
yes, you're very tough. you're not
give
gonna make
him
peace with
hell,
terrorists.
the
You're just murdering their
Palestinians.
children.
That was
Very, very tough.
that was
That's what he said
wild.
about it.
He
So
JP he did apologize on the
basically every
Piers
single issue you can name.
Morgan show.
With the vaccine and
Morgan
every
show.
other
He
war.
was
Then it's
contrite. He
always
was
calling for
repentant.
other people's young men to
He
go
did
and
say
die
that
in
he
some war. He
messed
seems
up
to love it.
for
There's gonna be a short man syndrome, but he's
not
always behind his desk calling
being
about how important it is
clear.
to be strong
He
men
said he
and
gave a
die.
did a
And the reason
20-minute
he tweeted that
video
and said that is because when
clarifying
Hamas and Israel, very early in the conflict, I think it was
But
3
yeah,
days
that-
ago,
yeah,
were
that
discussing
tweet
possible
was-
peace talks, he retweeted,
people
no,
certain
absolutely
people
not, fuck them,
interpreted
kill them
it
all.
as
And I said, I said that.
bigoted and tolerant, prejudicial tweet.
Think there's something beautiful about the fact you
Devilish,
can grow a diamond.
remorseless,
Lab
merciless.
diamonds by Light
Give them hell, yeah. Give them hell. That was crazy. That was crazy. People cooked Jordan Peterson for that. They definitely
What I
cooked.
said is that we should
I
always be
think
prepared
Gary,
to at least
what's his
discuss
name?
peace. He, because he's a warmonger, said
This
no,
foreigner
peace is
on
not worth the
Twitter.
conversation. You're this, you're that, because he's always sitting behind his desk. He must have a booster chair. He's always running his mouth trying to invoke violence and call for war. And I find it kind of hypocritical because
Yeah,
a man
that
who's so
Twitter
small
user
who died
said
slapped on
that
the
these
street.
conservatives, they are hypocritical. That's true.
I think it's kind of,
They're supposed to
It's
be
worse.
I actually think, I
it's
believe,
insane.
I believe if he was sitting in this,
Now, Ben was tweeting.
intolerance, but
it's for Jewish people in Israel to defend themselves. He's a Jewish
Gary
man.
Ike, I think that's his name. I forgot.
I agree. Defending yourself.
That's all he does.
That's all he does. And calling for war and defending yourself is very different than genocide. And Ben, like I said, overall,
He cooked with Ben
most of
Shapiro
Ben's
too.
work and mine probably align. We don't align on the religious
I
side.
think
You know
this
what I
dude
mean?
named
Fine.
Alex
But
too.
overall,
He
we're
cooked
with the House of Science
Peterson,
function.
Shapiro,
Probably
different
align
people.
on many of the key issues. I don't have a beef with Ben, and I don't watch his show, and I have no idea what he talks about a lot of the time. But what I do know is that every time I turn it on, he's calling for someone else's son to go and die in a ditch somewhere for his interests. And I don't like people who are not advocates for peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, said Candace, who's far more intelligent than Ben will ever be.
Candace Owens
Peacemakers like Candace. He replied back
Candace
to
Owens
starting an argument.
did not
When
say
I said
disgraceful
we should
stuff
talk
when
about
she
peace.
said
I say we should talk about peace.
genocide
He calls
is
for the
bad
death of
on
civilians.
both sides.
And
Both
somehow
sides. In that interview,
Bro, he literally won't condemn that.
Ben was bugging when he said Candace is disgraceful. How is she disgraceful for that?
All he gotta say is
For not simping for Israel.
He need to condemn them. Like everybody else did.
All he gotta say,
No, he said that killing innocent people was wrong.
But he won't condemn Hamas.
he did it.
Somewhere where his interests. And I don't like people who are not advocates for peace. Blessed are the peacemakers, said Candace, who's far more intelligent than Ben will ever be.
There should be peace. Peace should be talked about in the before killing
I say we should talk about peace.
Hamas,
He calls for the death of civilians, and somehow
the terrorists. Have the conversation first. If they don't want peace, if at the end they don't want to have peace and the savagery, then get rid of it. Yeah, have that conversation. That's what a lot of people are saying.
Why can't you condemn them? What they did was
There's nothing wrong with having a conversation before.
did that because they were trying to
See if they want
oppress both.
He said they did that.
harmony, accordance. If they
That's all you gotta
don't,
say. Yes or no. You don't need to
Get
answer
rid of
with all
it.
that extra shit.
Move on. Say the other people.
Get
That
rid
nigga
of-
talk. He did not do that.
of
He
get
literally
rid of
won't do it, bro. Like he literally won't do it. It's actually
Of them.
frustrating that he wouldn't do it.
them.
My point of view is seen as abstract. It's insane.
Just
Why
condemn
can't we all
terrorists.
just sit down and say the fighting must end? Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Why can't we sit and say,
That is true.
nobody should be
We said that at first. We're getting close for that.
That's crazy.
To blow the limbs off children. Why can't we say that without being deemed some kind of
why
terrorist
do you think-
sympathizer
Yeah.
or anti-Semite?
Yeah, I see what Tate is saying. He makes sense. He makes sense right there.
What did he say?
To be unbiased.
When a new president comes in, it's just endless war and death and killing. Have you seen a dead body, Piers? No. Why can't we sit and say, nobody should be dying, let's stop using
Yeah,
advanced
let's
military weapons on the
continue
planet to blow
this
the limbs
BS.
off children?
Let's
Why can't we say that without being
cease
deemed some kind of
this
terrorist
BS.
sympathizer or anti-Semite?
Why do
It's
you-
insanity. Trump came along
That was
and
the first
started
point he
a
made, I
civil
won't
war.
lie.
He's the only one who
He made
did.
sense
And they're
right
gonna come
there.
along and
Gotta
say
give it
you're
up.
a bad guy. When a new president comes in, it's just endless war and death and killing. Have you seen a dead body, Piers? Have you seen people lose a fucking limb? It's disgusting. I know what's happening over there.
Have you seen it?
I don't need to tell you the parts of my history that I'm not prepared to share, Piers.
You
But
seen it?
I said,
You ain't gangster.
I think you-
Oh, y'all gotta chill, man. Y'all don't know what this man been through, man.
Fact.
He's such a gangster. He's been trying to get over
Yeah. Yeah. I see what everybody is saying.
I'm just saying, though. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's just funny. It's like, come on, bro. Like, we don't fucking know. Man.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't.
Facts.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what it is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bro. Real talk, though. The point he made, he said, how can you not say, like, you want children to stop dying with explosives without being deemed a terrorist, a sympathizer, or anti-Semite? I think that was the best thing he said. Because when people say they don't want this to happen, you're either with Hamas or you're against Jewish people. I'm neither of those.
Facts.
That's what I'm saying.
Same. I am neither. Logic. Logic.
You gonna get grilled whatever you say on this by somebody.
Gosh. That was the best thing he said for his whole interview. I said, tired of it.
Word.
And have seen people bleed out in the street from a stab wound are not going to be so smart and so quick to sit behind a desk and call for the death of innocent people. It's disgusting what's happening. I don't want anyone to die on either side. And when I come along as a peacemaker and say, this is insane, because he's a warmonger, because he has chosen blinkers and sees one
Blinders.
side of the argument and
He's
refuses
close-minded.
to
Ben
accept the
Shapiro is
humanity of
biased,
Palestinians.
partial.
He says,
I
I'm a
get
bad
why,
person,
but
I'm calling for peace.
Well, you know
It's-
why? Because you probably listen to this interview and say,
Not-
this guy
not
can't
rational.
even describe Hamas as terrorist.
That's a good. Ben has a point right. Has a good point right there, bro.
This week was a big one for us.
Or would have a good point if he was there listening. Yeah, he would have a good point, bro. He would make sense. If this guy Tate, this clown, he cannot even classify what Hamas did as bruh. Crazy, man.
And if you
All
do
right,
think what
I meant to say he cannot even classify Hamas as a terrorist
then you are
group.
then you are just as partisan to one side
Yes.
as you believe Ben Shapiro.
Yes, he's hypocritical. Tate is a hypocrite.
Pierce, don't interrupt this.
Pierce is too. He's calling Tate a hypocrite, but he's a hypocrite too. He's not holding IDF accountable. He doesn't hold the Israeli president accountable. He's a hypocrite too.
Provoking terrorism.
So out of interest, what would you have done if you'd been Israel?
It's goofy. It's
All
goofy.
I have to say.
It's goofy.
All he's saying. He's saying, bro, everybody use that against you. He's right. Literally. His whole argument is valid because he won't say that Hamas is a terrorist group, and he won't say what happened on October 7th was a terrorist attack. He said, well, that happened because of this. Well, it's a terrorist attack. Why the freak won't you say that? Oh, but they're doing it is just like a terrorist. Okay. That two things can be true at once. That could be a terrorist attack, and what they're doing can be bad. If you won't acknowledge the fact that that was bad, but you didn't acknowledge that's bad, your argument is invalid.
What you're saying is basically you are like how Ben Shapiro was hard on this side, you're hard on that side.
Extreme, radical,
And that's a fact.
extreme,
15,000 people died.
inconsistent.
Everyone non-biased. Everyone has a little bit of bias. We're just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Everyone has a little bit of bias. He
Yeah.
has bias. We all got bias. He got a bias. Okay. What's my bias? Huh?
Well, you just say you for Palestine.
Yeah. So that's your bias.
That's your bias.
Yeah.
I'm really in the middle, bro.
I am in the middle.
Two sides.
I'm not choosing a
But at
side.
the end of the day,
Neutral,
I want
unbiased,
I want
impartial.
this shit to stop happening.
Yes,
Did you hear
just
the video
continue.
of the little girl without legs go off, she said,
Come on,
she's
Archer.
begging to die. That shit is horrible. People keep
Terrible.
telling me, and children with their faces and to limbs, but I'm tired of it. I wanted to stop, but
Aren't you biased of how you view something, right?
bro, you're biased.
But
You're
it's predetermined things that make you view things a certain way.
Yes.
And yes, view it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I view something and
I'm going to say this. I'm gonna say this.
But you and your life experiences make you view things a certain way.
Yeah.
And me and my life experiences make me
Yep.
view things a certain way.
Everybody.
Same thing
That
with
applies
Andrew.
to
Same thing with me.
everybody
That's what I
in the
mean.
world.
Everybody has a bias.
In the
Everyone
world.
does.
Yes.
Based on their life experiences
Yep.
before
What they-
this.
yeah.
And that's how they see things with a perspective.
I'll say this. What happened on
Sir.
October 7th was a terrorist attack. It was horrible. 1,500 innocent people died at that in Israel. That was horrible. When you see the video of them parading around after what happened, celebrating, you think that didn't piss Israel? You think they didn't see that shit? Oh boy, they coming back with some firepower. And they done blew shit out of proportion.
And I really don't think
It's
that.
bad. It's
I
horrible.
don't think that
You
Hamas
said-
knew what was
you
gonna
trying to
happen.
tell me that's the only way to stop Hamas. Well, I just feel like there has to be a better way.
Yeah.
There's so
That's
many
the argument
civilian
that we hear.
casualties.
That is an argument that there can be.
There has to be a
That
better
is what
way.
we gotta talk about.
I feel like at some point, like, I feel like the initial response was 100% justified. A terrorist attack just occurred on those soil. The innocent people lost their lives. Then you see a video of people parading in the street after this shit happened. Okay, they may be oppressed, they may be living bad lives.
Yeah.
But what just happened was bad.
Uncondonable.
So when you respond, their initial response was justified. But here we are in November. What is it? The 20th, 21st.
Yes.
This shit happened October the 7th. They still blowing shit up. A month and a half later.
Demonic.
Damn. At what point do we say enough is enough? That's all. That's my whole. All I say.
Can we please have peace? I'm here to
Harmony.
Can
Accord.
I can't. I want
Can we please have peace?
That's why I can't hear shit that he says.
Can we
Unity.
please come to a resolution?
Unification.
I understand that you cannot sympathize with terrorists. You cannot
Facts.
negotiate with
Facts.
terrorists. I completely understand. But you can't keep killing innocent people.
Facts at the same
And
time.
we don't know who Hamas is. We don't. There's literally no way to know. But there has to be a better way. There's literally
Yes.
children dying.
Yes.
50% children,
Yeah.
and they're blowing everything up. Children are dying.
I think that
People who are going there with no control of that are dying.
Yes.
That's bad.
I think my
Bad.
definition he
I
knows
concur.
is terrorist.
Why won't he say it?
Bro, why would he say it though? This is bias.
Because he's
Refusing the failure to condemn is
That's why he won't say it.
odious.
Exactly.
It's like you're saying like, okay,
Did you do this to them? That's what happened. Okay, when you do that to them, that's what happened.
we unlock all the gates of the damn zoo and all the monkeys killers, or the damn lions killers. That mean, try me to think of it. You know what I'm saying? That's like locking people up and, that thing they're gonna retaliate. That's what it's for.
He said,
Okay, and
he
then
said,
the other point is, if you bomb and kill 50 other people,
Then you're
the people who did that knew. Did you think the Hamas people were like, damn, they just let this happen?
They did.
They knew damn well what's gonna happen. Why nobody talking about that?
Because they were trying to carry everybody down.
So they didn't care about their people. They didn't care about their people. You did not care about your people.
He said,
If I go over there, let's think like this. Look, let's think like this, right? If everybody in this house, where I live, everybody in this house, if I go over there, and if they bomb, right, they bomb. If I go over there and I bomb them, they gonna blow everybody in this house.
Yep.
I don't give a damn. If
Yep.
they bomb me, am I wrong for that?
Yes.
But his point is,
Undoubtedly. Regardless of the reason
what the hell?
that's like, okay, bro.
What the hell?
Okay.
of what happened
So
to
that's
you,
like, the
to
picture,
your,
that's like
to
them
your friends.
Of capturing you. And
Or to
you.
you, I mean to say to you.
You did something to your family, and you go over there and retaliate, and you just
Okay, so
you
look,
crashed out.
Yeah.
So that's like, okay. So say somebody did something to my family, right? Somebody over there, they did something to my family, right? And it was best up, and I want them dead. But
Yeah.
everybody in this house will die if I go do something. If I wrong about do something.
Yeah.
Kill all of them.
Yeah.
Do shit. But I knew if I did this, you would die. I know you'll die. It's got nothing to do with you. Am I
Still
wrong?
wrong.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, that's wrong. No, they're wrong. I'm not saying that they're right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I gotta see their point.
Yeah, empathy. Different from condoning. Two different things. That's what people gotta understand.
Yeah, I don't see the point. I don't see the point.
That has to
Now,
be
you know what I'm
known.
saying? If I'm gonna get my whole family killed doing that, then I probably shouldn't do that, right?
No, you should.
That has to be made known. I meant to say.
What kind of a peace do I mean, and what kind of a peace do we see?
R.I.P.
I'm
JFK,
talking-
man. This joint is about to die. I think I will check out the rest of this video at a later. My camera will die soon, very soon.
And we're not people we there. All we seen is videos. Yeah. Everybody gets told what they want and see.
Yes.
So we seeing
Yeah.
this,
Right.
this.
Sounds right.
So like,
Right.
and we feel the same things just now.
So, it was a great interview. I mean, I don't know, man.
They both had good points. They both had bad points.
Usually is a well-spoken guy that makes
Yeah,
points.
articulate, but he's a con. He's a con.
I did agree with you. How can you not call? You can't call for peace in this situation without them saying you're a terrorist sympathizer or you're anti-Semitic. I think that is a problem. I also think that Piers told him up, man. I'm sorry. There's one time
They're both goofy though, Piers
Piers
and Tate.
Piers did his thing.
But they both had good
What's his
points.
name with the glasses? The intellectual.
Muhammad Hijab,
The
the Oxford graduate, the Sunni,
With the beard, with the glasses.
His name. Damn it.
the Sunni Islam dude.
I think he did a good job. This one, I think.
The younger dude.
Hijab,
Yeah. Remember? Oh, no.
Muhammad Hijab.
Damn it.
But we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. He did his thing, man. I think Muhammad came in and stood on business. But now
He was wild too, Muhammad
I
Hijab.
think
Him
he did a
and
great job this time.
the,
I think-
rabbi.
I think he stood on principle. And I think Andrew Tate was talking in circles and not making points. I think he had a hard
But
time.
in the one-on-one interview, one-on-one interview that Hijab did, he definitely had good points.
That was
I can't do that.
He was cooking Pierce with the, he said Pierce was doing the Mott and Bailey fallacy. Pierce definitely did that.
That's a question, because you gotta know
Pressure cookers explode, but you are pretending they shouldn't, and you dropped it to them.
Well, I mean,
But yeah, in the interview with Rabbi Shmuley, they both were over emotional, no cap. They both made sense about certain things, but they both were talking over each other, interrupting each other.
It's to say that was that. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. You would be like, yeah, that's bad, but it happened because of this. Okay, well, at least you said that was bad, but he wouldn't even do that.
Yeah, Andrew Tate was bugging for not condemning Hamas.
Standpoint to the book. So when we saying that,
I'm not though.
we're not. But like,
he for sure not.
I say it's terrorist. I said it land have been stolen.
we don't know things he wouldn't have.
Hold on. So we do not know. So basically, they stole their land, right? So do we steal the Native American land?
Hell yeah.
So they should be able to spend on us then.
Hell yeah.
All right, that's what y'all believe.
Hell yeah. Anybody that's done wrong, you have the right to spin regardless.
The Native Americans.
Kill anybody that I love. If you harm me,
The Native Americans. So when the Native Americans bombed your house, they said, "Well, your ancestors took my land." You can't be mad.
can't be mad. You slave. I can't be mad at all. You got white too. I can't be mad at all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't be mad at all.
Yeah, you can't. You cannot.
I'll be pissed the fuck off. I know you would. You see, you're saying if your family died, you wouldn't be mad. That's bullshit. Kill my family. I'll be Y'all show me all you can do right there. Oh, no, man, my family died, so we ought to make it. That's what y'all just said. That's what y'all just said. That's what y'all just said.
I grew up being taught literally this. This is something that
Somebody-
look at me in my eyes.
Somebody-
Have you ever heard that you are, what did they say? You are responsible for everything that, if anything happens, like if I do something, and your family's responsible. That's basically what I was talking. If I go out and do something, your family's responsible. If my dad goes out and go kill a family, or kill somebody, I don't know, that family becomes slaughter my whole family. That is what I was grew up and taught. I promise you.
You stop wrong, but
That's just what it is, though.
Yeah.
so then you can get done all the gang violence and everything that happened in Chicago and LA and everywhere, New Orleans and everywhere, because they killed their homies. So you killed my brother, you killed some.
Not condonable, regardless, not justifiable.
Okay, then that's not gonna work because your ass go.
Prison.
The homie gonna come back alive.
But that's the problem with the whole world. You kill somebody, you go.
You literally just sat here and said that if the Native Americans came and bombed your whole family, you wouldn't be upset. That is a lie.
I'll be upset,
He-
but I'll be understanding.
He said he cannot be mad. I mean, I think he gonna be mad, but
Somebody put their
Hey,
hands
if my dad gonna do something to a gangsta ass group, and they come and
he's
slaughter
saying
my whole family, and kill your
in this video that he cannot be mad. That's true. He cannot be mad, but
at the same time,
and if that happens, if he gonna like stay calm, it's gonna be hard for him to stay calm. He's most likely gonna be mad, you know what I
So
mean?
your daddy did something right. Your brother,
But you shouldn't be mad if you did something to somebody else's
Say yes or no. He deserved it, right?
family or
Yes or no?
whatever.
Yes or no?
That person comes and kills everybody in your family. You can't get
I
mad.
can't agree with you at all, buddy.
I don't agree with that logic, but that's what I was taught.
Okay, but I'll tell you what you was taught is wrong.
So these niggas gangsters, and a lot of my family was gangsters. So nigga, they tell me, nigga, hey, that's what happened. If I do something, that's gonna happen. Because that's why gangsters grew up, nigga. My sisters grew up like that.
The anger would be understandable though. That's if your family got killed.
We see that works.
You shouldn't be prevented from being angry though.
Let's think like them and do how they.
All this is wrong, guys.
Well, I was always.
All of it is bad, man.
That's a different thing. Put your hands on that's defending yourself, bro. That's average to one, bro.
It would be hard for me to stay calm if my family got killed. No cap.
My grandma always preached, if you always, wherever you do your street fight, you
But if
better
I
fucking
did
come
something to
stand.
somebody's
So,
family, they came and 86, my kinsfolk,
You justify that?
I can't get mad, but
but it's
it
understood.
would be hard for me to stay composed, to remain with equanimity, with
Nobody really knows the truth of what happened.
yeah, that's it, man. Shout out to Cartier family. Yeah, and let me know what y'all think. Give me y'all candid thoughts, man. Yeah, they're both hypocrites, man. Piers, Andrew Tate. A lot of people are hypocrites, man. Man, Piers did not call out the Israeli president. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Simping. Andrew Tate is simping too. The pusillanimity is sad, man. F the fear of backlash. F the fear of loss of connections. F that fear, bro, of loss of connections. You have to be brave, honest, and candid, like I said before. You got to have a backbone out here, man. If you don't, you're gonna be miserable, straight up and down, man. Yo, this is long, but I am about to Dipshire. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. I will Dipshire right now, bro. I will come out, drop more videos. Yeah, man. Stay tuned. Yeah, man. I gotta check out the Candace Owens BCP's video about the Ben Shapiro Candace Owens stuff. I might check out Megan Kelly's video too, man. Yeah, bro. Let me know what y'all think about this review video, my review video, their reaction to the Pierce video, what Pierce said, what Andrew Tate said, what the Cartier family dude said. Let me know, man. Yeah, this is a long, super long video. Like, comment, share, sub if y'all like this review video. Let's blow my channel up, man. I believe we can. I believe we can do it. Let's make it happen, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. One love to the family of DTA, Elevation B4, no GTA, man. I'm gone.